Guys, Spartan from SpartanTrading.com with your daily recap, February 2nd, 2022. So interesting day today. We came in today and I figured we'd be bullish neutral, looking for a slight pullback on a bunch of things and then a curl back to the upside. The reason why I was looking for that was Google gapped up a ton. I figured there'd be some profit taking out the gate, which would cause other selling amongst the big cap tech, which would most likely pull down the market. And it did. That did happen. That was great. So, SPY to the downside, we had a little bit of the 450 puts. They went up a little bit. That was okay. Didn't really, play it for a full short on the downside. We were more so looking at it as a hedge, but it did end up working okay intraday. A couple things that we did take short in the morning. We did take NVIDIA short right out the gate. I figured semiconductors would come in. They did. So we took a short 256.79 on NVIDIA. We ended up covering most of it into the 250 area and then exiting the rest. We did take Google short as well at the 29.91 area this morning, which ended up working nicely on the the first dip into that 29.60 area. Ended up getting about 20 points and change on that. We took the Tesla long on the pullback. When it pulled back the first time into this level right here, we took it long around the 914 area. And we were looking for 2350 as our target. We ended up selling into that pop, that time around, which was great. Nice little move there. And then we ended up taking it again when it pulled back to the 913 double bottom, and then we sold it again into the 920s. And then lastly, at the end of the day, we did have it long, which it ended up basically just being a flat trade, didn't end up working out. So that was some of the short stuff that we took. Some of the other long names that we took intraday. EA, I like the name on the long side today. And that actually held up nicely. Looking for continuation of the upside. Of course, we got a nice little move higher. We grabbed it at 132.60. We ended up selling most of it at the 135 area, so that worked out great. What else did we do? We did Tesla long. We talked about that. We did Indo long, which ended up basically being exited some of it on the pop, and then it ended up just coming back, stopping out the rest. Wasn't really a great move, but kind of got lucky on that little pop there. What else did we do? We did a little bit of shop on the short side, which we did short for about 14 points intraday. Ended up getting out of the rest of that. We took some FGI long, which ended up not working. Ended up just exiting that trade at the end of the day for a 30-cent loss on a starter. So not a huge break. mRNA we had short. We ended up getting out of this thing flat when it held the lows. Basically that 165, 33 areas where we took it short. It kind of held that low, started to bounce a little bit, so we ended up just exiting that position. We took some Roku short for about a point, which ended up working okay. We took some, what else did we do? Actually, it was about 2 points on Roku on the short side. I'm just looking. So that was good. Microsoft long scalp. We took it at 311 in the afternoon when it started to curl up. Market started to curl up as well. Got about a couple points on that. We took Netflix as well when the market started to curl off the lows. Got about 4 points on that to the upside. We took Fun long, scalped it to the upside from 58.47. Didn't get much, 40, 50 cents. Decent little trade there. Nothing too crazy though. And other than that, we had a Rivian short at the end of the day at 64.05. We ended up getting out of it on the little pull here. I didn't think it was going to get that much more, and that ended up being the correct notion just to exit it on that little pull. Some of the stuff that didn't work on the long side today, the main thing that didn't work was the Indo, which we talked about, FGI, which we talked about, and then UPST, which we did take at 113s and ended up getting stopped out of that starter there as well. So overall, some decent long trades. Most of the stuff worked. Two things didn't, everything else did, so that's good. And other than that, I'm happy with that stuff, or the long on the equity side. The options was a little bit choppier with the market, trying to play things out of the money, et cetera, et cetera. We took some MA out the gate, the 400 calls long, which ended up being a nice 200% and change trade. So couldn't complain on that one. I'm just going to scroll up, guys, take a look at a bunch of different things that we did. MA, we did Microsoft out the gate. One of the things I noticed too was Microsoft out the gate, and I tweeted it within 1 minute of the market opening up. I just noticed the relative strength in the name. We had 315 calls right out the gate at 119. Those ended up going up a couple 100% as well. We had a 320, 250 roll, which ended up working okay as well as it pushed. We took some AMD calls, 135 calls, which ended up not working. Today we tried to play the bounce on it, didn't end up juicing up the premiums or anything like that. So that one didn't work. We did a Visa Lotto option trade, which ended up just being a flat trade. By the end of the day, it really didn't go anywhere. We took some PayPal puts, the 120 puts, which ended up working nicely this morning, and then we took some 125 puts on this bounce, and that ended up paying us a little bit as well on that little push. Starbucks was one that out the gate it had negative earnings, and I said if this thing holds up, which it may, I'm going to be leaning bullish on it, looking for continuation higher. Ended up holding to the upside, and we ended up getting a nice little bounce back into the 99 area, the 98 calls, which ended up going 100% and change to the upside. So that was a good little trade, actually a couple 100% to the upside there. So that was a good little trade there. Nvidia puts, we tried to scalp the 240s. We ended up just exiting those because the market started to bounce. So that was a bit of a flat trade. Tried a Netflix roll, that didn't work. And then other than that, pretty standard day. A couple of the ones at the end of the day. RTX, we had the 93 calls, which ended up working nicely. And then CVS, we were scalping the 110 calls, which ended up working okay. We did do a Google put, 2750s on the downside. That ended up working nicely. And other than that, pretty solid day on the option side. There was a bunch of stuff that didn't work, like I said, but nothing too major. Like we took Qualcomm 190 calls as a scalp. That ended up not holding up well. So we ended up just exiting that position. Mainly the premiums weren't juicing up, but a little bit choppier on the option side as I have been stating. Overall, an okay day to trade. I think the equity was where it was at. Options a little bit choppier, but still, nothing too major in that regard. Anywho, we'll see what happens tomorrow, guys. Looking at the market in general, what do I see? I see the SPY is holding up an extension on the daily. I think we can see further continuation higher if we can hold above the 50 EMA tomorrow, which is above 457.23. We did close I think above that level, didn't we? Yeah, we did. We did close above that 50 EMA, so that's great. This should pull up the extension to the upside. Obviously, we're getting a little bit of a pull, everything on Facebook after hours on those earnings. But yeah, we'll see where we end up. Should be an interesting day regardless. I do think we'll have a wider range than we did today. Whether it's to the upside or the downside, we'll have to wait and see. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, you can go to SpartanTrading.com. We do stream from 4. We do stream from 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. every single day. Live streaming, and then obviously using Discord for alerts, etc., etc. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.